Have you ever really stopped to think about what it feels like when you grow older and suddenly find yourself completely alone? I don't just mean spending a quiet afternoon by yourself. I'm talking about waking up in an empty house every single morning, preparing and eating your meals in silence, and then going to bed at night without having spoken a single word all day. For many, this is the reality of later life, and it's something people rarely discuss until it's already happening. By then, a lot of folks feel lost, disconnected, and unsure how to move forward. But here's an important truth. Being alone in your senior years does not have to mean being lonely. Solitude, when approached with the right mindset and habits, can actually become a time of growth, reflection, and even joy. The key is knowing what steps to take to protect your mental clarity, maintain emotional balance, and keep your body healthy and active, even when there isn't anyone else around. In this video, we're going to explore 4 essential practices every older adult should consider if they find themselves living alone. These aren't just lighthearted tips or surface-level suggestions. They come from real-life experiences, backed by psychological research, and they've been proven to make a meaningful difference. Each idea is practical, straightforward, and surprisingly powerful. So whether you're already in this chapter of life or you sense it may be around the corner, you'll walk away with strategies that can help you make these years not just manageable, but deeply meaningful. Because no matter your age, and no matter who is or isn't by your side, you still deserve peace, purpose, and dignity. Stay with us until the very end, because the final tip we share may completely change the way you view solitude in later life. In fact, it's something that has helped countless seniors not just survive, but truly thrive, even when living. Number 1, build a steady daily. One of the first things that tends to slip away when someone begins living alone in their older years is their sense of time. Without family coming and going, without a spouse to share meals with, or without appointments and activities filling the calendar, the days can begin to blur together. You might notice yourself eating breakfast at noon, staying in pajamas well into the evening, or suddenly realizing you're not even sure what day of the week it is. At first, this may seem harmless, even a little freeing. But over time, this lack of structure can quietly erode your mental clarity and emotional well-being. That's why one of the most important things you can do is to create a simple, steady, daily routine. I don't mean a rigid schedule packed with endless tasks. I'm talking about a gentle rhythm that gives your day a clear beginning, middle, and end. That might look like waking up at a consistent hour, washing up and getting dressed, even if you don't plan on leaving the house, preparing a proper breakfast instead of skipping it, setting aside time for movement or a favorite hobby, and making sure dinner happens around the same time each evening. Ending your day by turning off the lights at a reasonable hour helps your body know it's time to rest. The beauty of a routine is that it doesn't have to be complicated. What matters most is consistency. A simple daily rhythm gives your brain and body something to rely on, especially when life feels quieter and your social circle has grown smaller. Psychologists remind us that human beings are wired for rhythm. As we age, that rhythm becomes even more important. It calms anxiety, regulates sleep, improves digestion, and even supports sharper brain function. Take the story of Walter, an 81-year-old widower. After his wife passed away, his days became a blur. Time seemed to disappear, and he felt lost in the silence. But when he decided to create a routine, something as small as making his bed each morning and opening the curtains at the same time, he began to regain a sense of control. Soon, he added morning walks and evening tea into his rhythm. Those simple anchors gave structure to his days, and with that structure came a surprising sense of peace. When you're left on your own, it's incredibly easy to let time slip away without even noticing. Hours blend into days, and before long, the weeks feel like they're drifting by without much shape. But here's something important to remember. The absence of other people does not have to mean the absence of structure. In fact, giving yourself rhythm, a steady flow to your day, is one of the most powerful tools you have to protect your mental and emotional well-being. Think of it as a quiet form of self-care. No one else may see it happening, but you will feel the benefits every single day. Number 2, gentle movement for a stronger body and a clearer mind. One of the most challenging parts of growing older, especially when you're living alone, is how still life can become. You wake up, sit in one chair, later move to another, maybe walk to the kitchen, and then it's back to the chair again. Before you know it, hours have passed without much movement at all. Days begin to roll by with very little energy, and over time, your body starts to feel the impact. Your back stiffens, your joints ache, your balance becomes less steady, and before long, even something as simple as standing up can feel like a struggle. But here's what many people don't realize. You don't need a gym membership, a complicated workout plan, or expensive equipment to stay active. What you really need is consistency and a willingness to keep your body in motion, even in small, simple ways. Movement doesn't just keep your muscles and bones strong, it's also closely tied to your mood, your memory, and even how sharp your thinking remains as you age. It can be as simple as walking to the corner and back, stretching your arms while the kettle boils, or standing up and sitting down from your favorite chair 10 times in a row. Each one of these little actions sends a powerful message to your body. I still need you, and science backs this up. Studies have shown that light, daily movement among older adults can lower the risk of depression, improve sleep quality, and even slow down cognitive decline. That means staying active isn't just about protecting your heart or strengthening your legs. It's about giving yourself peace of mind and a greater sense of independence. Take Eleanor, for example, a 78-year-old woman living alone in a quiet neighborhood. After her husband passed away, she rarely left the house. Her knees began to ache. She felt tired even after resting, and her days seemed heavy with silence. Then one morning she made a decision. She would walk to her mailbox. The next day, she did it again. A few weeks later, she was walking all the way around the block. It didn't change her life overnight, but it gave her something to look forward to each morning. She told us she felt more awake, less anxious, and most importantly, proud of her body again. This isn't about turning yourself into an athlete. It's about preserving your independence. Because when you keep your body moving, you're not just stretching your muscles, you're stretching time itself. You're giving yourself more years with more freedom, more mornings where you can rise from bed without assistance, more afternoons where you can prepare your own meals or tend to your plants. These little victories add up, and they matter deeply. And don't overlook this. Gentle movement also reconnects you with the outside world. A walk around the block might bring you a wave from a neighbor, the warmth of the sun on your skin, or the sound of birdsong in the trees. Those small moments matter. They remind you that even if you're living alone, you're still a part of something larger. So, move a little every day. Not because anyone else is watching, but because you are still here. Your body, no matter its age, deserves to be used, respected, and cared for. If you've made it this far and you're finding these insights valuable, I'd love for you to comment number 2 below to let me know you're still with me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and click that button and turn on the bell notification. That way, you'll never miss future videos like this, content designed to inform, inspire, and support you as you navigate this important chapter of life. Now let's move forward. Number 3, meaningful connection in small, steady doses. Growing older and living alone often means that silence becomes a daily companion. Some days it can feel peaceful, a kind of calm you've earned. But on other days, that same silence can feel heavy, almost like a weight pressing on your chest. You might go hours or even days without hearing your own name spoken aloud. And even if you're someone who has always valued independence, there comes a point where too much isolation begins to chip away at your emotional health. But here's something many people misunderstand. Staying connected doesn't mean you need a large group of friends or a calendar packed with constant social activities. It doesn't mean forcing yourself into situations that feel unnatural or exhausting. True connection can be found in much smaller, more meaningful ways that bring steady comfort without overwhelming your spirit. You don't have to throw yourself into big gatherings or try to be the life of the party in order to stay socially connected. It can be much simpler than that. What truly matters is making sure that in some small way, you're still reaching out and being reached in return. Even a quick 5-minute phone call, a weekly check in with a neighbor, or a warm conversation with the cashier at your local grocery store can carry more emotional weight than you might imagine. These little moments of human contact remind you that you are still seen, still heard, and still a valuable part of the world around you. And this isn't just a nice idea, there's real science to back it up. Research shows that older adults who maintain even light but steady social connections enjoy stronger immune systems, lower rates of depression, and a reduced risk of dementia. That's not a coincidence. It's proof of how deeply we are wired to remain emotionally connected, no matter our age. Consider Richard, an 83-year-old man who lives by himself. After both of his sons moved out of state, he realized weeks would sometimes go by where the only words he spoke were at medical appointments. The silence weighed on him, even though he didn't want to admit it. Then one day, he left a note on a neighbor's door offering to collect their mail while they were away. That small act led to a grateful thank you, which turned into a friendly wave and eventually into regular Saturday morning coffee. It wasn't dramatic, but it gave Richard something to look forward to, someone who cared, someone who noticed if he wasn't there. If there's someone in your life you haven't spoken to in a while, consider picking up the phone. If you have a neighbor you only wave to from a distance, take the extra step and ask how their day is going. These gestures don't just benefit the other person, they breathe life back into your own heart. And there's another beautiful layer to connection: finding shared purpose. Many older adults discover deep satisfaction through volunteering, mentoring, or simply offering a listening ear. Reading to children at the library, helping at a community garden, or just being present for someone who needs to talk. These acts create a sense of contribution that restores dignity and meaning. You may live alone, but your wisdom, your presence, and your story are still needed in this world. Loneliness isn't about the number of people around you, it's about whether you feel connected. And the good news is, that feeling can shift with just one phone call, one kind gesture, or one new routine. So take the step, even if it feels a little awkward. Extend the invitation, even if it's just for coffee or a short walk. Staying socially connected doesn't mean avoiding solitude altogether. It means protecting yourself from letting solitude turn into emptiness. You deserve to feel close, remembered, and valued, no matter who you live with or without. Number 4, a personal purpose that gives you a reason to get up. There's a quiet danger in old age that doesn't get talked about enough. It's not only loneliness, and it's not just the physical changes that come with time. It's the loss of purpose. When the career ends, the kids move away, the house becomes quiet, and fewer people rely on you. It can begin to feel like your most meaningful days are behind you. That sense of not being needed is heavy, and it's something many older adults silently carry. But let me tell you something important. That feeling is a lie. Purpose doesn't retire when you do. It doesn't disappear just because others stop asking for your time or energy. Purpose simply changes shape. And when you're living alone, discovering that new shape becomes one of the most powerful and life-giving things you can do for yourself. Purpose doesn't have to be grand, and it certainly doesn't need applause. What matters is that it matters to you. It could be as simple as writing letters to your grandchildren, planting tomatoes in the backyard, keeping a daily journal, or restoring an old table. Maybe it's calling someone every morning just to check in, or recording your life story so your family understands where they came from. The form doesn't matter, the impact does. Purpose adds structure to your days, lightens the silence, and brings a quiet kind of pride to your spirit. Take Samuel, a 79-year-old man from Michigan. After his wife passed, he found himself adrift. The silence in his house felt endless. Then, one morning, while cleaning his garage, he came across an old typewriter. He brought it inside, dusted it off, and began typing memories. His time in the Navy, how he met his wife, the birth of his daughter. He didn't write for an audience, he wrote for himself. And in doing so, he found new energy, new meaning, and a reason to wake up each day. That's the power of purpose. It doesn't erase the losses, but it helps you build something new in the space that's left. And that something is what turns surviving into truly living. When Samuel began putting his words on paper, something remarkable happened. He found peace, he found meaning, and slowly, the silence in his home didn't feel so heavy anymore. What once felt like an endless emptiness began to take on a new kind of fullness. Psychologists often remind us that having a purpose, even the smallest one, is directly tied to stronger mental health, lower stress, and even longer life expectancy in older adults. And it makes sense. The human spirit was never built to simply drift from one day to the next. It was built to aim, to seek, to reach towards something that matters. When you have a purpose, your days don't just slip away unnoticed. They carry weight. They mean something. You're not merely existing, you're contributing, even if the only person you're contributing to is yourself and your own sense of dignity. And here's something many people forget. Being alone can actually give you a freedom you might not have had before. It opens space for exploration, for trying things you've always wanted to do, but never had the time or courage to pursue. Maybe you've always loved music but never learned to play. Maybe you've dreamed of painting, or trying new recipes in the kitchen, or finally reading every single book by a favorite author. This is your time. Living alone doesn't mean your life has to feel quiet on the inside. When you discover a purpose that truly speaks to your soul, it fills your days with energy and meaning. And that meaning, however personal or humble it may seem, is what keeps your spirit alive. So if today feels quiet, ask yourself a gentle but important question. What's one thing I can build, write, grow, share, or care for tomorrow? Don't do it for anyone else's approval. Do it for your own peace of mind. Because when you root yourself in purpose, even in solitude, you transform that solitude into strength. You give yourself not just another day, but another reason to look forward to it. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, I'd love for you to comment number 4 down below. That way, I'll know you're here, listening, and walking this journey with us. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to click that button and turn on the bell icon so you won't miss future videos. Your support helps us continue creating content that informs, inspires, and uplifts. Final thoughts. Living alone in your later years can be one of life's biggest transitions. It can feel as if the world has grown quieter, smaller, and more distant. And yet, with the right mindset and the right habits, it can also become a time of rediscovery, a season where you uncover parts of yourself that may have been buried under years of responsibilities, work, and constant busyness. Maybe while watching today's video, you recognized a piece of yourself. Maybe you felt the weight of an empty house, or wondered if you're the only one going through this. Let me assure you, you're not. And more importantly, you are not powerless. By building a steady daily routine, by keeping your body moving with gentle activity, by reaching out for meaningful connections, and by cultivating a personal purpose that gives your days direction, these aren't just nice ideas. They are powerful tools. They're the very things that protect your spirit, guard your health, and bring fullness back into your life, even when you're sitting at the table by yourself. So I want to ask you, which of these 4 practices spoke to you the most today? Which one do you already have in place, and which one are you ready to try tomorrow? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We would love to hear from you because your voice matters, and your journey might inspire someone else who needs encouragement. Reading your comments not only motivates us, but it creates a community where none of us have to feel alone. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who could use the encouragement. Your support allows us to continue bringing you content that informs, strengthens, and inspires. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. Take good care of yourself, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.